The Financial Sector Conduct Authority is hosting its first Financial Education Summit today. This is in collaboration with financial services sector companies like Visa, the JSC and the Financial Services Consumer Education Foundation. The summit, themed Creating Accessible Financial Education for All in South Africa, is bringing together leaders and decision makers as well as experts from the financial sector to work collaboratively in spearheading the need to do more in the area of financial education. Well, to tell us more about the purpose of this gathering and possible goals to come out of it, I'm joined by Unathi Kamlana. He's the FSCA Commissioner. Thanks very much, Commissioner, for joining us. It's great that you're getting all these great minds and leaders from the financial sector to share ideas around boosting the issue of financial education in the country. But why is this necessary? I mean, don't financial institutions already implement financial education strategies at an individual level themselves?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Nombo. I think the point that we're making here is that we have an incredible opportunity to consolidate our effort in order to achieve much higher levels of effectiveness. I think everyone doing their own thing, focusing differently. We've seen in the past that it's not the best strategy for financial education. I think also what was important today was to have an opportunity to actually talk about what are the key issues, the key areas of challenge, and therefore focus our energies and our resources and where we can be intervening to drive this very important agenda.
Yeah, Commissioner,
agenda of financial education.
Commissioner, where do you see those key challenges? What are the key challenges that you see?
I think they're in a couple of places. I think an immediate example, of course, is the two-pot system, where for the very first time, financial customers are going to be able to access early their retirement savings. The education challenge there is people needing to understand the impact of those withdrawals and the options and choices that they have to do with that money. The second one is about something that's very old in our system, which is the ability of financial customers to check and compare products between financial institutions, just fees and the structure of fees of various products, and also customers needing to understand and know the recourse mechanisms that are available to them if they need to complain and so on. So there's a lot of categories of issues that if we are much more forceful and much more strategically aligned between ourselves as a regulator and the sector, we would be able to achieve much more in terms of treating customers fairly and generally better customer outcomes from financial education.
So in your discussion so far, where do you see the areas of collaboration? What sort of initiatives would need to be taken to do better?
So one of the things that we have just concluded right now are declarations by leaders of individual financial institutions. And those declarations include having a formal board-approved financial education plan, commitments to what goals are going to be part of that plan in a very transparent way. And of course, this will depend on what type of institution you are and what type of customers that you interact with. And thirdly, and quite importantly, a monitoring and evaluation framework so that we can measure on an ongoing basis that we are making progress in this area of financial education. And of course, to agree together that we need to be investing more. We use words like adequate levels of investment to be made towards the area of financial education. And we're using that language so that we steer clear of some of the very minimal compliance-oriented, CSI-oriented kind of approaches to investing on something which we think is fundamental to building loyalty and trust in the financial sector.
You know, Commissioner, there's always a perception and a danger that with summits like these, you guys exchange great ideas, come up with great plans and so on, but there isn't accountability down the line. Going forward, do you hope that this is going to be an annual thing so that you can see how progress has been made materially in the South African economy as South Africans navigate their financial circumstances?
No, absolutely. Part of the communication that we were talking to here in providing, I was delivering the keynote address in the morning. The point here is financial education is at the core of the mandate of the FSCA. So it's not an add-on. It's not something that's on the side. So when we license and supervise financial institutions, we also have to make sure that they contribute to this important agenda of financial education, because it is as important as being prudentially sound, as treating your customers fairly, that you provide financial education to your customers so that they understand the products that they're dealing with. And therefore, in that way, you build their resilience, you improve product suitability, and overall, you improve confidence and trust in the sector.
You beat me to it earlier when you made reference to the two-pot retirement system, which of course is very topical and it's kicking off on the 1st of September. And in a way, this particular summit is a little, too little too late, because now it's on the verge of happening. People are going to be making their applications for withdrawals. But do you think that the media, the likes of the SABC, and even the actual financial houses, the retirement fund houses, have actually done enough to communicate the implications of withdrawing on your savings? Or do you think more could be done? And is this some of the issues that you were discussing at the summit around how that messaging continues as the years go by?
I think all of us can do more. I think this is a major structural change in terms of how we interact with our retirement savings. So I wouldn't criticize anyone by saying they've not done sufficiently, but I think all of us, as a regulator, as employers, as media, as retirement funds themselves, and retirement fund benefit administrators, we can do a lot more to provide the information that empowers members of retirement funds to understand the implications and the impact of this change. Because remember, it's not only allowing people to access, it's also introducing a system of compulsory preservation of the 2/3 until one retires. So this complete understanding is essential that members understand. So we can do a whole lot more.
Yeah. One last thing, Commissioner. I don't want to, burst your bubble or anything, but you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. You can give people as much education as you can, but it's up to them to ingest it and obviously use it. So you have that dilemma, don't you? That ultimately you can do all that you want to in terms of trying to empower people, but it's up to individuals, especially adults, to make the right choices.
No, absolutely. As long as the horse cannot turn around and accuse you of never having taken that to the water to drink.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Unathi Kamlana. He's the Commissioner at the FSCA.